Happy Friday, everybody,
Happy Friday.
and welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us from various parts of the Twin Cities, three of the founding members of the Balkan band Orkestar Bez Ime, Katrina, Natalie, and Colleen. All
Welcome.
right. So I don't know where Katrina, where are you joining us from today?
Northeast, baby. Northeast
All
Minneapolis.
right.
Right
Excellent.
in the heart of the
Excellent.
Arts District.
And Natalie,
Excellent.
you also are Northeast, right?
I am. I'm northeast. I'm in St. Anthony Village.
Excellent. And Colleen, where are you joining us from?
North. I'm also in St. Anthony, but just a little north of Natalie.
Oh, excellent. So it's just like you keep going north. Are we going to hit more band members if we just keep going north?
Actually, yes.
It's true.
You guys all live in a line. I love it. And Colleen, before we go any further, we have to ask about your very elaborate title happening right there.
You know, over the years, just more and more honorifics keep adding on. They keep piling on. It's a kind of a inside joke among our band members in the traditions that I play in, like from Transylvania. Primash is like an actual title of like a band leader, and so we like kept just adding more and more and more titles onto that until I'm all of them. I'm just gonna be all of them.
For
And in
those who
fairness,
go
she is a
ahead.
doctor.
Nice.
She is a doctor.
I
Yes.
actually am a
Dr.
doctor.
Parcher. Well, there are some people that just listen to this show. Could you maybe give us that title so we can all hear it?
Oh, sure. I am Dr. Profeswara Diva Primash.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yes.
She left out the princess this time, though.
I actually did leave out because it's too long. It's gonna
It
run
didn't
out.
fit on the screen.
Excellent. Well, no matter what your title is, we're happy that folks are joining us today for this musical happy hour. Chris made it first to the party. He said,
Hey,
hey to
Chris.
Friday. Another one in the books. He said, Italian style Pilsner beer time. Hi, everyone. And I'll be curious to see what beverages people brought today. I don't, unfortunately, have anything Balkan with me of derivation. I just have a box of red that was sitting downstairs. So that's what I
Red
have
wine
going
is
on.
great.
Well, I should ask Primash, Colleen, what are you enjoying? Are you enjoying any beverage or snack on this?
I'm a mother banjo twinsy.
Hey, all right.
Nice.
I
Same-
love it.
samesies.
Cheers.
Even
Down
same
with
glass.
Excellent. And Natalie, what are you enjoying anything?
So I made a really fascinating smoothie that I've never made before. It's
Whoa.
supposed to be like a healthy shamrock shake, but I didn't have mint leaves. I had cilantro, and I didn't have banana, but I had some green juice. It's really interesting. I'm not sure I'd make it a second time.
And I also
love it
love
in the
that it's in
Guinness
a
glass.
yeah.
I had to do something that, just reference the happy
I
hour.
feel
so.
like we're
Perfect.
all getting very cross-cultural today in all the unexpected ways, given that Orkestar Bez Ime, the band's music that we're going to feature today, features music from a lot of different Eastern European traditions. But now we have Ireland and Italy, and I don't know where this Boda box is from. Don't know.
Katrina, where are you coming from?
The Minnesotan cider
nice.
here. So
All
There
right.
you
Picker
go.
and Minnesotan here.
And that's not just any cider. What do you got there? That looks
It's
fancy.
Wild State hazy pink pineapple.
Ooh,
Sounds so
delicious.
good.
Quite nice.
Excellent. Little taste of summer there. And Tony, what are you enjoying?
I'm staying in the Midwest here. I have a Bell's Porter, a nice dark
one of my
beer.
favorites.
It's kind of we're wearing our sweaters here today, and it's a little chilly here in Minneapolis, so perfect for this time of year.
Nice.
Excellent. And Connie's joining us from Richfield. Hi, Connie.
Hey, Connie.
And Alan, he has his back catalog listening party pint glass, and he says it makes a mean double gin and tonic. Let me tell you, that's a
Nice.
lot of gin and tonic in there. But no judgment here. Whatever gets you through. And Lev, hi.
Lev. Hi.
I love.
And looking forward to playing with Diva Professor tomorrow. Excellent. And Bev, looking forward to this. Bev says she already has her tickets to see Orkestar Bez Ime tomorrow at the Cedar Cultural Center.
Yay.
One of the main reasons we're so excited to have you all here today is because tomorrow marks you're celebrating your 21st birthday with a big party at
Wow.
the Cedar Cultural Center. And we wanted to have you on to look back on one of the albums from your decade plus of making music together. So we're pretty excited about that. And before we dive into this 2010 album that you selected to feature on today's show, maybe one of you could talk a little bit about the origin story of this band, because we have three of you joining us today. Obviously, it's a bigger band and it had different members, but maybe you could tell us a little bit about how the band formed and what led up to this particular record we're going to talk about.
Well, coming out of the late 1990s into the early 2000s, or should I say the late 1900s, right?
Yeah, my kids keep reminding me of that.
Coming out of playing in a couple of different groups at the time, and had met both Colleen and Natalie through ethnic dance theater. And both of them had also played with me and my now ex-husband in a different band. And when that folded due to non-ex-husband reasons, although that was kind of simultaneous, I still wanted to play in a band. So we got together, the three of us, plus Dee Langley on accordion and Tim Wall playing kaval, which is a Bulgarian end-blown flute, and guitars and tamburas and stuff, and said, hey, let's keep playing the same kind of music we were doing in the other group, but now through these people I had met through EDT, or ethnic dance theater.
Excellent. Wonderful. Nice. And again, the three of you have been there since the beginning, and different band members have come and gone. And this album that we're going to talk about, Mahala Drive, came out in 2010. So where does this fit into your discography?
So this is number 4 in our discography. We started recording. You guys, what was the first? Our first album was 2003.
2005.
Right. Was it that late? Okay. 2005. And then we did one each year, I think. 2005, 2006, 2007. We did a trilogy. And they were called the Nice Driveway trilogies, because in many like Slavic languages, to cheer somebody, you would say Nozdrovje, and it sounds like nice driveway. So we called the album the Nice Driveway trilogy. Okay, in honor of cheering people. So Nozdrovje, nice driveway, everyone. Nice driveway.
I'm using that one now.
Nice
Thank
driveway.
you for that,
Yeah.
Professora.
It's pronounceable, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice
It
driveway.
is, right? Yeah, nice driveway. So this one that we're going to be listening to comes right after the Nice Driveway trilogy. And let me think about this, you guys. We did not have bass in the trilogy.
Correct.
Is that true?
Well,
Yeah.
kind of. I played bass on a couple of tracks,
did.
but yeah, but we didn't have a bassist until Mahala Drive.
Right. So this album that we're listening to is our first release with a designated bass player, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Excellent. And
I love that phrase, designated bass player. It sounds like every band needs the designated bass player.
And it is a bigger band, and we have a couple pictures here. Is this then the band that was all on this particular recording that we're looking at a picture here of a
Yep,
designated
that
bass
was
player?
all 6 of us. Yep.
Yep.
And FYI, here's our little tasty trivia treat. I am the only person in the band currently who has never played bass.
True.
It's never
So
too late.
designated bass player is actually a pertinent way of describing.
Because I think Eric has played some sort of bass. He's
He
the only
has.
one who hasn't played as much as some of the other people, but yeah.
Yep.
You
yep.
guys, I forgot. What did I play bass on? What was that? I can't remember, but I did.
You did too.
I don't think we actually recorded it. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
But live.
Colleen was a bass player at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Like a hardcore bass
All
player.
right, Katrina,
yeah,
you're
the-
next.
Yeah, right.
Well, I
Well,
want a
and-
bass clarinet. I just can't afford one.
And to be fair to Natalie, it had nothing to do with her bass skills. Her bass skills are excellent. The problem is that she does everything excellently. And so as the vocalist, she carries more gear than anybody else in the band.
True.
So
There's
vocalist slash percussionist slash
yeah.
sometimes former bass player in OBI. Yeah.
Whatever we need.
That's awesome. Well, for those of you who are just joining us, we're talking to Orkestar Bez Ime, and this is our weekly musical happy hour that where we gather with our good friends and we listen to music and we clink our glasses together and we talk about the music. And so I want you all out there to know this is a conversation. So if you have questions and comments for the band, please put them in the chat. A great time to do that is while we're listening to the music, which I would like to get going on. I want to make sure we get to as much of this as possible today. And so the first track we have on, I made an agreement with the band before we started that they were going to help me with pronunciation for some of these. So who would like to talk a little bit about this first track, Natalie?
I can take that. Yeah. So this first one is from Macedonia. The name of the track is More Cicoreche. And it's a humorous song about a girl who is being married off by her parents kind of forcibly because they just want her to get out of the house. And one of the reasons that we chose this song is because when we were going into the studio for this album for Mahala Drive, there were some songs that had been in our rep for a while and some that were new to us. And in fairness, so the guitarist / mandolin player and the bassist on Mahala Drive just joined us like less than a year before we recorded this. So Scott Keever and Matt Miller joined us for this. But in preparation for recording this album, we did learn a few songs kind of last minute, and this was one of those. We learned it 2 weeks before recording.
And we still play it.
Awesome.
It's better now.
So it was really fresh, though. Like the conversation that does come up from time to time is, like, do you kind of road test the song and get it all dialed in, or do you kind of let that kind of new song energy flow out? So it sounds like the latter in this case.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to give this a listen. A great way to kick off our Friday happy hour. This is Orkestar Bez Ime with the song
More Cicoreche
here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
All right. Orkestar Bez Ime with More Cicoreche. Something like
You're
that.
really close.
Wow.
Nice.
So close.
Nicely done.
I was
Bigger
taking
than I.
notes when you pronounced it earlier, Natalie, from their 2010 album Mahala Drive, which we are revisiting today with three of the founding members of the band, Natalie, Katrina, and Colleen. And John saying really enjoying this in South Minneapolis. I think folks are enjoying it wherever they're listening,
Yeah.
including across the river in St. Paul. Fellow OBI bandmate Scott Keever joining us as well. And also I saw someone else, Lev, said looking forward to making music tomorrow. So these are musicians. Is Lev a fellow bandmate, or will he just be performing tomorrow night at the Cedar Cultural Center?
Lev's a part of the Ukrainian Village Band who are opening for us tomorrow night.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, if Lev or Scott have any inside stories they want to share, or probing questions they want to make sure we get, then make sure to throw them in the comments. And of course, all of you can do the same if you have questions about any of the songs, the translations, and maybe this would be good to know. Since that one did have some great vocals from Natalie, maybe you could give a brief, just like summation of what the lyrical content is.
Yeah, so it's a humorous song, but like a different era kind of humorous. Like we wouldn't find it humorous now, but it's a girl whose parents really just want to get rid of her and they're trying to marry her off. But there are all these things that keep on happening that are problematic, and basically she gets made fun of for it. Yeah.
And
so I have to ask, you mentioned before we started playing the song that this one was kind of new to you right before you recorded the album. Where do you collect these songs? Is this like, where did this one appear 2 weeks before you went to the studio?
Well, I had played this one in a different band back in the 90s. It was in a band called Rakia, which is kind of the national grape brandy spirit of the Balkans. And but it was in a very amateur sort of, this is how I learned about this music's existence back in 93, 94. And I was like, whoa, this is the coolest music ever. But it's a tune that we had done in that band. So brought it into OBI at one point or another and said, hey, why don't we do this?
Awesome.
excellent. And we got a very important question from Joe. What was the time signature on that last
I
tune?
was wondering.
Any
that too.
guesses, Joe?
It's not
It was
even.
5.
Okay.
So 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3. Or if you're having Mexican food munchies, it's taco burrito, taco burrito, taco burrito.
Ah, I like that. The cross-cultural connections continue.
That's right.
Always.
I love it. And Scott chimed in after we asked about stories, and I think he might have a few here. He says,
Evil
"Stories,
laugh
mwah."
happening over there. Excellent. Well, again, if you just tuned in, we're having members of Orkestar Bez Ime joining us to revisit their 2010 album Mahala Drive, and lots of instruments happening on that track. Maybe you could just give I don't know if that song is representative of the whole record, because is it just all of you, the band members, playing live, or are there other players you brought in for the project?
Yeah, it's us playing live, and really the way that we did all of our studio albums up until the one that we're in the process of finishing right now. We would just stand around in a circle or in a semicircle and have mics at us, and we'd just be performing live and take the best take and hope for the best. So we did that. The first 3 albums we did were all in churches, so we have like kind of more natural reverb. And for Mahala Drive, we decided to do it actually in a studio and add some of that space, in post production. So yeah, we were all performing at the same time, and I don't know that we actually had an opportunity to cut and paste even any of our partial takes or anything. I think we just like took the whole thing, whatever was
Muted
the
what
best one.
needed to be muted, like weird sounds coming out of instruments and what have you.
Yeah, to the extent that you can. I mean, you have bleed
Not me.
over, so.
Yeah.
Never.
Where
So-
was this recorded?
This was recorded at Waterbury Music and Sound. Now, if you know Northeast, it's not the building that actually says Waterbury with big red letters or whatever. It is. It's actually the studio of our friend Reed Kruger, who has been operating under that name for, about 2 decades, I think now, and he's engineered most of our albums.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and what's the instrumentation briefly? And maybe we can pull up that photo too, because I think
Yeah,
it has
you
some
bet.
of the instruments in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we have,
go ahead.
Oh, Minnesota polite. We have everybody. So we have double bass going on. We had, oh gosh,
Exactly
so
these
accordion.
instruments.
Yeah, exactly these instruments: accordion, clarinet, violin. Scott's playing mandolin, and then Natalie's playing a doumbek. You were playing doumbek on that, weren't you,
Yep.
Natalie?
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent, and of
Awesome.
course the singing as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of, it's so much sound coming from just those instruments. So
know.
it's really amazing.
And funny story about the mandolin, actually. So Scott started with a mandolin, and normally, music from Bulgaria and Macedonia and other parts right around there would use an instrument called a tambura, which is it's sort of like a guitar meets a lute meets a saz kind of a thing, and it has just a different sound. And that's not an instrument that he knew how to play when he joined the band. And after some time, and I don't know, prodding, I think, in a few different directions, he was like, okay, I'm just going to get a tambura and I'm going to learn how to play it. So he wound up buying one. He had one made for him in Bulgaria after this recording was done. And when he started playing it, he's like, oh my God, this makes such a difference. Now I hear what you guys were hearing. It's really interesting, the difference in sound.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Cool.
Well, I don't know about you, but I want more music. So
Yeah.
if folks are ready for that, we can talk about this next track that you picked.
Yeah, so this is a love song from Bosnia. It's called Karanfile Cvijeće moje, and it's really beautiful. Actually, it's the lyrics say that if I were a flower, I would plant my seed under the window of my loved one, so that he would smell the carnation. He would smell me. He would, we would be together. He would be reminded of me. The thing that I'll say about this track, and you guys feel free to jump in if you have other thoughts on this, but so many of the source recordings that we are used to hearing, field recordings and studio recordings that are sources for the repertoire that we perform, a lot of it was recorded in mono, like many years ago. So there's a very specific kind of not super big sound in those source recordings. And previous to Mahala Drive, we really hadn't done any really dedicated production, like artistic production choices. This is one song that we decided to try it out. We thought it would be kind of fun to try it as not quite a mono, but more like if you're listening to it on a phonograph, how would it turn out? So this was the product.
Oh, interesting. Well, thanks for sharing that. I love those little tidbits. That's the stuff we love to nerd out about here. This is Orkestar Bez Ime with the song.
Oh, Karanfile Cvijeće moje. I thought you were going to try it.
No. Ellen, if you want to try, I'm going to leave it to you guys. Thank you so much for that here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Waiting for that needle to come off of
Nice.
that old recording from Orkestar Bez Ime from 2010. You old. Uh, that was great, and it was so great. Natalie chimed in on the chat during that tune to say that we recorded that you recorded the band backing as part of the full tune, and then Scott had to overdub on the mandolin.
Yep.
Which
And
is-
same thing with Dee when she
Yeah.
did a solo with accordion. Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't imagine like improvising and trying to keep track of how many measures you're in. It's like, why do that to yourself? But we did it.
Well, and that made me think of a question that I had about the repertoire. Obviously, you're pulling from a lot of different cultures in Eastern Europe and in particular in the Balkan region. And when I don't know if it's different from tune to tune or from region to region and culture to culture, but is there like a sense of like when you learn these tunes from whatever source material you're learning from, whether it's another band or an old recording in the case of that tune, is there a sense that you have to kind of keep it very close to that? Are you really trying to put your own stamp on it, or does it really just depend on the tune?
We always want to have at least an element of the tradition, whether it's how the vocal sounds are pronounced, the timbre of the vowels in the vocal sounds. Sorry, this is the little old lady cat. She needed her cuddle. Her name is Gracie. She's about 14 or 15. Now she wants down.
She joined us.
But yeah, we try to at least get a nugget of that tradition in there. All of us individually strive for having things sound as quote unquote authentic as possible, which is again a loaded term, but at the same time we want to at least honor the people whose traditions these more naturally organically are.
Yeah, over time, I feel like we've allowed ourselves as a band to put our own stamp on it without losing that, that sense of respect for the culture whose music it is. And I think that I think we're at a pretty good balance actually between those two worlds, which is really nice. For me, I came from more of a vocal ensemble world, and in particular, the ensemble that I was with when I first started with OBI was Mila Vocal Ensemble. And so vocal timbre and style and everything was embedded in everything that we did. It was very important that there are very specific distinctions between various cultures and regions and everything, vocally speaking. And it was actually kind of funny how it worked out with this album because, just vocally speaking, I can't speak about the instrumental part, but vocally speaking, there are a lot of different styles in this album, to the point where one of the reviews that we got, it was a really nice review, nice written review. They thought that we were using different vocalists for every song.
Oh, wow.
It's like, that's a really great sign. I did my job.
Wow,
Yeah.
congrats on that.
Good job, Natalie. Yeah.
From my perspective, as a fiddle player, I had to learn how to approach my instrument completely differently than what I was trained to do, because I was trained classically and have a performance degree from, as an undergrad. And so learning how to play this kind of music and trying to just make the sounds that, we were trying to replicate, I literally had to change the way my left hand especially was working. So for example, like in classical music, you usually like trigger your knuckles from back here to, make in like separate single notes nice and cleanly. And in this music, I think a little bit more in terms of like gathering shapes. So it's more of a kind of a gather kind of emotion. Not that I'm playing like this. Well, where's my hand? Not that I'm playing like this, but it's that gathering kind of feeling and kind of pulling the strings a little bit more off to the side rather than triggering my fingers up and down. And so this has been like a really long process of like figuring this kind of thing out.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting. And Katrina, did you also come from I know you've been playing Eastern European music for a while, but did you also come from a different background where you had to approach clarinet differently?
Oberlin Conservatory. Yeah,
Yay, Oberlin alum.
Mother Banjo. Yeah, so I went to Oberlin Conservatory. I went to Northwestern University in Chicago, got my master's in clarinet performance, and then quit playing for 3 years and lucked into an ensemble, an amateur ensemble in 93, 94-ish. It was 94. Can't remember anymore. Which, again, just there was a lot to learn, and I haven't really played in 3 years, but for a long time, I just kind of approached it with the same tone that I used in classical because I didn't know anything else. And this was the 90s when the internet was nascent and not a lot of stuff was easily findable on how to make the sound. There were no teachers here to teach me how to do X, Y, and Z on the clarinet, even though I could find the fingerings, find the all of that stuff. Ultimately, since even this record was made, I have changed mouthpieces and reed types. And now I think I'm getting closer, but I know I'm still not there. I teach 30 students a week to play classical and concert band stuff, so it's really hard to switch back and forth. And I'm still working on it. It's a lifelong learning process.
Well, oh, you go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's amazing how every little subgenre of music, just like speech or language, it's so nuanced. And from the outside ear, you're just like, oh, it sounds like X, Y, or Z. We paint with these broad brushes, but the deeper you get into it, the more you realize you're changing your fingerings and your reeds and all of those things. And it's so wonderful to hear, how much that you have kind of dove into it, to find those things out. And it kind of leads into a question we got from our friend Chris here, who just wanted to know if everybody in the band has had influences from Eastern European and Rom or Gypsy music.
That is that in a nutshell. That is it. We play Eastern European music, and we have, in fact, studied with Romani people in Serbia back in 2012 as a result of winning the McKnight Foundation in fiscal year 2011. We used that money to take all of us to Serbia.
Wow.
So, and we got our butts kicked. We all have lots of stories about that.
And I was going to ask if you have any borders around, like, obviously it's like, are you like, okay, like this song isn't quite from Eastern Europe, but it kind of fits in with what we do. Like, how do you determine what's a fit for OBI?
What's a fit? That's actually a harder question to answer, but we do have, things in our repertoire from Israel, from French Canada, from Armenia, and other places that, wouldn't fit neatly into the Balkan Peninsula or even Eastern Europe. So it exists. Honestly, the way that this band started in terms of who our audience was when we started, is the international folk dance community, which, it sounds exactly what you would think. Like they, like to dance traditional dances to all these various different cultures' music. And so really that was our starting point. So it was more like, what are the dancers really into? Let's see if we can learn some of these and then expand to things that we think are really interesting. And over time, our audience, of course, has grown. It's changed quite a bit. And our sound has changed too, just because we're focusing more on things that really capture our hearts and souls.
Yeah.
We've also written original music too. So
Nice.
Excellent.
I think it is real. Oh, I was just going to say one more thing about that. I'm sorry about that. Going off of what Natalie was saying about the dance music, the vast majority of what we do is dance music. So everything that you're listening to, you can imagine people actually dancing line dances to this or whatever. So even the thing that was in 5, for example, there's a dance that goes along with it, which kind of floors me still to this day.
That actually brings up a question I was thinking of during the last couple songs, which is I know in situations where I've played music that is more suited for dancing, that playing that music without someone actually dancing changes how you do it. And so I'm just curious about the recording process. When you were recording this, how do you bring in that energy? How do you bring in that vibe? Did you have people dancing and you imagine it in your head? Or what? Can you talk a little bit about separating those two things for the recording process?
I have a very vivid imagination.
That's helpful. I think it kind of varies from song to song. Like, the one that we learned 2 weeks prior. For myself, I was just like I was glued to the words and like let's get this right. But yeah, sometimes having an imagination, feeling it in your body, I find really helps. Like even if you're not a dancer, if you're performing this music, knowing the dances or knowing how your body moves to it really helps to interpret artistically the music in a way that feels connective. But yeah, it is really hard without seeing people. And actually just this last album that we just finished recording, we were all in isolation booths for that one, and that was a first for us. And no dancers or anything like that. It is totally different energy. It's really easy to get in your head if you let it happen.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, let's get some music on because I want to dance. I want to move. The next tune you picked is okay, Tony. I got this one. I think I can pronounce this one. Are you
You
ready?
got it. You've got it.
Romanian lullaby.
Well done. That was beautiful.
Hey, wait, Ellen, I could have done that one. Is there anything that you folks would like to say about this one before we give it a spin?
Yeah, I mean, this is one that we keep recording. I think we
Mhm.
recorded it maybe 4 times now, officially 3 times.
I think 3.
Yeah, so it's one that's been in our repertoire a long time, and it's one of those songs that, if you get into Eastern European music, this is probably one of the earlier tunes that you would hear. It's a good gateway drug to, some of these pieces. And then it is a lullaby, but it's not a happy one. It's really, it's about longing for simpler times, for youth, because as you get older, then life starts to fall apart and it's terrible. So it's not a happy lullaby, but it's gorgeous.
Like any good folk music,
Right?
just telling it like it is.
Rockabye baby.
I love
Yeah.
Almost
I
a
love
murder ballad, but not quite.
All right, this is Orkestar Bez Ime with Romanian Lullaby here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Mama când m-o legănat, Mama când m-o legănat, numai de dormi o cântat, numai de dormi o cântat, mi-o cântat de dor și-o plâns, mi-o cântat de dor și-o plâns, dorul de mine s-o prins, dorul de mine s-o prins, de când doruri la inima, de când doruri la inima, nu mai am nicio hodină, nici la prânz și nici la cină,
Orkestar Bez Ime with Romanian Lullaby here on the back catalog listening party.
Beautiful.
And yeah, beautiful stuff. And if you just joined us, we have three of the founding members of Orkestar Bez Ime joining us today to revisit their 2010 album Mahala Drive. And earlier, we were talking about how you're and you describe yourselves as a Balkan party band, and obviously, as we were just chatting before this song, a lot of dancing at your shows. I feel like this tune must be the break song, right? This is like where people can rest from their dancing, or do people dance to this one
There
too?
is a choreographed dance to it that the international
Oh,
folk dance people actually do.
Oh, cool.
wow.
We
It's really
often
cool
le-
to watch, but yeah.
we often
I don't
leave
know.
this we leave this for the end because Colleen has to retune her violin.
Mhm.
And that's how you get like just this beautiful rich sound out of the part that she plays. But yeah, just to be kind to her instrument and to her,
We have used this as ending material and or encore.
Mhm.
Nice. Well, it really is. Like you can feel the emotion in
Yeah.
this one, and it was, people out there were feeling it too. Anne says soothing, and Alinda says lovely, and Chris says thanks. Wet face.
Yeah. Well, I get it, Chris, because so the ensemble that I used to sing in before OBI and Mila, this was a song that we all sang. That there's actually 3-part harmony that in the OBI version is taken over by instruments and that wonderful layering that you heard. But my friend Sonia had, when she first was studying the song and learning it, she was singing it to her infant son while she was bathing him. And here she thought that she was going to be, kind of soothing him because he was just kind of like, agitated, unhappy or whatever. He just got more agitated. He started crying so hard.
Oh no.
So it's like he knew the meaning behind the words or something. I don't know what it is.
It's possible,
Yeah.
He intuited the melodic meanings.
Yes.
Well, this is a good time to remind you that if you like what you're hearing today, you can buy this album. And today's a special day to buy it because it's Bandcamp
Bandcamp
Friday.
Friday. Boom.
We love every Friday here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, especially between 4 and 5 p.m. Central Time, because that's when we get to catch up with artists and revisit old records with all of you. But Bandcamp Friday, the first Friday of every month, is our maybe our favorite Friday because it's where artists get 100% of their sales, whether it's merch or recordings or digital downloads, and so it's a great time and place to buy Orkestar Bez Ime's music, including this album. So if you want the digital tracks or want to get, you guys still have physical copies of this album too?
We do.
Okay, so you can get physical copies, and you can go to their website too, orkestarbezime.com. And really, going to their website or Bandcamp or seeing them perform live is the best way to get their whole catalog, because I think this album is available on the digital places, but many of your other recordings are not. So they have to come to you, and I highly recommend all of them, including that nice Driveway trilogy that we were talking about. And if you missed this at the top of the show, Nice Driveway is our new cheers there at the Back Catalog Listening Party, because it
Nice
sounds
Driveway.
like
Nostravia.
Nostrovia, which means cheers. So
Cheers.
And as of just a few days ago, the entire Nice Driveway series is now also on Bandcamp. So that's brand new.
excellent. So you can
Awesome.
get physical
There too.
copies there. And Orkestar Bez Ime, I should say, I was chatting, Natalie and Katrina, with you a few days ago when we were doing a radio thing, and you mentioned that Balkan parties are known to last, like weddings last like 3 days.
Yep.
So in true Balkan party fashion, we're kicking off your 21st birthday celebrations today here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. And then you'll take a nap maybe, and then continue the party over for those of you living in or near the Twin Cities. They'll be having a big birthday party at the Cedar Cultural Center here in Minneapolis on Saturday.
Mhm.
And you have Ukrainian Village Band, and I mean, each of the two of you are pretty big party bands on your own. So I can only imagine the
They must
level
clear,
of
they must
energy.
clear out the seats at the Cedar
Yep.
for these
Yep.
shows, right? It's a dancing
Yep.
show.
Pretty
There will
much.
be seats available, but it's going to be a lot of dancing room.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you want to get there early if you want to snatch a seat.
Well, if you're just listening to the show and you want to find any of this information out, you can go to thecedar.org to find out more about this show. You can go to Orkestar Bez Ime's website, which we will put in the show notes, and you could also go to our show notes as well at backcataloglisteningparty.com/188. Where we'll put links to all of this stuff in case you missed it, or you're driving, or you're walking around the lake right now listening to this.
And it's their birthday. So I'm just saying, this is a great time to throw in a tip to buy their albums. This is what you do on birthdays. You give people gifts, and you say, we're so glad you've been around on this earth for 21 years. And we are so grateful that Orkestar Bez Ime continues to make great danceable music that makes babies cry and makes us smile. And
make Chris's face wet. And I should also mention that, if you do go to Bandcamp to pick up something, you don't have to just pay what they put on the, for each album or piece of merchandise. You can actually tip them. You can pay a little bit more. So it's another reason to go over there to Orkestar Bez Ime .bandcamp.com and grab this album, grab their whole discography, the Driveway series, everything you can. It goes a long way to show these bands how much we appreciate what they're doing. I mean, independent folk music is a tough road, folks. You do it because you love it, and we all benefit from it. It just makes the world a better place. So head on over there and show them some love.
That's right. And speaking of love, we're going to get to at least one more song here before the hour finishes up. But we want to take this opportunity to thank our supporters here on Back Catalog Listening Party that show their love by showing up and supporting the show through their donations. These are the folks that said, we want the show to continue long after the pandemic, even though these live shows are coming back. Penny, Anna, Linda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Alex, Becky, Galen, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Fred, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Homestead, Pick and Parlor, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Many Tracks, Nikki, Joni, David, Sarah C, CJ, Wiley, Stephanie, and maybe you. If you want to join our community of music and record-loving folks, then you can do that. We have a special holiday party. We have other kinds. You get a sneak peek at all our guests ahead of time, and it's a really fun time. But mainly, we're just grateful to these folks for their support, and also to all of you out there listening, because this is what makes this show happen, is this conversation between artists and fans and future fans. So
that's right.
And well, we're going to get to at least one more tune here from Mahala Drive. But before we do, I want to ask about the title. You had Nice Driveway. And I know we were talking about where that came from. That was really a kind of joke about Nostrovia being Cheers and sounding like Nice Driveway. But Mahala Drive, there does seem to be a road theme. So where does Mahala Drive come from?
Well, the Mahala part is a style or a type of tune from the Romani community in Romania. And then it just kind of sounded like Mulholland. So we kind of meshed it with that film title a little bit.
Excellent.
While we're on the topic, I love the artwork. It's beautiful. Can you talk a little bit about who put this together, and maybe who's that woman in the photo there?
So Doug Padilla is the artist. He's this incredible artist who used to have a studio in the California building. And one of our band photos is actually in his studio bathroom, and it just looks like a gallery on its own. But yeah, this is one of his pieces. And I'm trying to remember who the woman was. And her name is Maria, because in the original artwork, her name is actually scribbled on the top. And we asked him if it would be okay to remove it just for the sake of the cover. And he was really nice about that. Doug is someone that I feel like, Colleen, you were the initial connection, because you had spent a lot of time with him at the California building.
Yeah, he had a studio in the California building up on the 3rd or 4th floor way up there. He had this gorgeous light-filled studio. And I just fell in love with his visual vocabulary that he brings to the world, and really just glommed on to his colorful sensibilities, and went for the kind of a really cool detail in a much larger work that he did. Lots of texture, as you can see.
So is this a photograph of like an actual painting then?
This is a photograph of an actual painting.
Multimedia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, very
Mhm.
cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
So there is some texture to it. Is that like you said, multimedia? So is it more like a collage kind of?
Right. It's kind of a painting / collage. Yep. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, it's gorgeous. And if you want to see it, if you're just listening to this, head on over to backcataloglisteningparty.com/188. And we'll have that picture and maybe that bathroom picture as well.
Yeah. And when you're over there, too, I just want to mention that Natalie Nowitzki, one of the members of Orkestar Bez Ime, who's joining us today, this is not her first back catalog listening party, not
That's
her
right.
first rodeo. She actually, if you want to hear about her solo album, Americana with a K, then you can check out episode 99, also when you're over at back catalog
It's a
listening
good
party.
one.
It's
It's a good
really
one.
good.
Was so fun.
But right now, let's get one more tune here. What do you want to say about this last tune that you selected?
So I can tell you a little bit about it, but I kind of want Kat to take over if you wouldn't mind. So Tevan Bachtale is Romani for good luck to you, or for good luck. And the translation of the song is may God grant me luck for the health and wellness of my wife, my children, and for me. But this phrase, when we went to Mahala school in Serbia on that McKnight fellowship, we learned that this is actually a very versatile phrase, like used for birthdays and other things like that. I don't know, Kat, I feel like you.
I think it's
Maybe
also used as another cheers.
Mhm.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
So we should all say what?
Teavan Bachtale.
Teavan Bachtale.
All right.
Tevan Bachtale.
Changing flavors
nice
now
driveway.
too. Fair one.
All right. Well, it looks like this is going to close out our hour of music. I'm so excited that we get at least one more track here today, because this is it's just giving me all the good feels here to kick off our weekend. So we're gonna give this one a listen. This is Orkestar Bez Ime with the song
Teavan Bachtale.
here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Hai, hai, devla, devla, sokerjom, pala, devla, devla, matijom, taven, taven, bachtale,
Teavin Baktale.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I hope you joined in on the la parts because everybody knows those words, right?
Right.
It's hard
Yeah.
not to dance to during that a song like that. Holy moly!
I know. And poor Chris said he pulled a hammy bouncing around the room. Thanks for another great show.
I feel ya.
Yeah. So
People loving this. Joe says, good fun. Thanks. And Connie says, thanks for another terrific show. Thank you all so much for spending this hour with us. It really is the best hour of the week.
Yay. Thank you so much. This is so fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, thank you for having us. And Teavin Baktale.
Yeah,
Hey.
and happy birthday.
Yeah,
Thank
happy
you.
21st
21st birthday. So you guys can legally drink. Good job.
Yeah. What am I doing with this?
That weird Guinness smoothie with cilantro. Did you say is in it? We'll have to get the recipe and put it up on the back catalog website. We are so happy to have you all here joining us today and kicking off your 21st birthday celebrations with us. Again, you can check out Orkestar Bez Ime at their website, orkestarbezime.com. You can buy their music on Bandcamp today and they get 100% of sales. You can also check out them live. And if you live in the Twin Cities, you can check them out tomorrow night at the Cedar Cultural Center and dance to this music in person. And mainly, thank you, though, for being here and taking some time to chat with us about your music and pronounce the titles for
Yes,
us.
thank you so much. I got one.
Collaboration. We're all about collaboration.
Yeah, exactly.
And we want to thank all of you out there listening because speaking of collaboration, like music is best served communally, and there's something that happens even over the internet when you know other people are listening with you. It just changes things, and we're so grateful for all of you being out there listening to the songs, commenting. It's so much fun. If you liked what you heard today, give it a like on YouTube, because then YouTube's going to direct more of their little robots to this wonderful band, and more people are going to hear this wonderful music.
I always say music is about connection.
Mhm.
Period.
Totally.
Full stop. So.
Yeah. Well, and there's a reason why you all have been doing this for 21 years, and that the three of you have continued to do it is that connection through the music. And we're just happy to have a little slice of it here today on Back Catalog. And also, if you like it, again, like the episode on YouTube, but also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Back Catalog Listening Party, because we do this every Friday. I mean, not this every Friday, sadly, but we have other different great guest artists joining us to revisit old records. And we'll be back here with another great episode next week. So make sure to join us. But until then,
nice driveway.
Nice driveway.
Nice driveway.
Nice driveway,
Nice
friends.
driveway, everyone. I'll see you
Thanks.
next week.